Hi, I'm Mike Bush. One of the reasons our results are so good.
If the beam drifts along the vehicle in the direction of travel while it's firing, the gun is fooled into thinking the vehicle is travelling faster than it actually is. Just watch this. Stationary car, what do you do?
Well, I have a stationary car, I've got a speed meter, let's see how fast the car's going. 8 miles an hour.
That's what enables us to do what we're here to do. And we all know what that is.
We do make mistakes. We're not perfect.
Operating Guidelines. Part 8. Accuracy. All speed enforcement devices used by the New Zealand Police are required to have a regular accuracy checks. The following details what checks are carried out and when they occur. Well, of course, otherwise we wouldn't be allowed to use them. Certificate of Accuracy. Section 146 of the Land Transport Act 1998 requires all operational speed detectors certificates of accuracy to be issued within 12 months of the date of the device is to be used in the detection of offences. Only units with current certificates of accuracy may be operated. A series of electronic and road tests form the basis of the Certificate of Accuracy. The responsibility for testing the certification rests with the Police Calibration Unit and international standard accredited laboratories based in Wellington. All speed enforcement devices are calibrated every year on a district by district basis or when the device has been serviced. Whenever a device is serviced, the unit is recalibrated before being placed back in service. Key information. A certificate of accuracy is required for all speed enforcement units. This must be issued within 12 months of the date of the devices to be used. The units must be checked to see if it is currently certified before it is deployed. I hope you're listening to that. That means that they have to check that their device is okay within its 12 months before they use it. Speedo certificate. All police vehicles being used in conjunction with radar speed detections must have a current Speedo certificate of accuracy. Section 146 of the Land Transport Act 1998 requires all Speedo certificates of accuracy to be issued within 12 months of the date of service of the device being used for the detection of offences. Operators using radar devices must check that the vehicle they are using has a current certificate of accuracy. This check is to be carried out before deployment. Deployment is the commencement of each shift. Key information. A Speedo certificate of accuracy is required for all vehicles used to operate radar units. This must be issued within 12 months of the day of the vehicle is being used in conjunction with radar equipment. Again, they love to repeat themselves. The Speedo certificate of accuracy must be checked before the unit is deployed. Again, they've got to physically sight it. And yet when you ask them if you could see the accuracy or the certificate of accuracy, the cops just, oh, I don't have it. Well, then how did you check it was accurate before you used it? Testing. At the beginning of each shift, operators must conduct the series of tests prescribed in the best practice guidelines to ensure the device is operating correctly. This means at the beginning of every shift. Pre-deployment tests include internal circuitry tests and other tests specified in the best practice guidelines for each device. A copy of the best practice guidelines for each device is at the end of this module. The operator must record the test results in the device logbook. If the speed detection unit fails any checks, it is not to be used. Again, you might see that they have been tuned on the deployment registrar, but they certainly aren't stating whether or not they've cited the certificate of accuracy for the speed variable for the machine. That's not being noted. The operator must record the test results in the device logbook. If the speed detection unit fails any checks, it is not to be used. Key information: the operator must complete the pre-deployment test before using the device. Results of the test must be recorded in the logbook. If the unit fails any checks, it must not be used. Logbooks. Operators must complete the following information in the unit logbook: member's name and QID, date and time of operations, test results, location, total hours of use, and the signature of the operator. The operator must fill in a separate log sheet for each day of operation, and this is what we call the speed deployment registrar. If the device fails any tests, it should not be used. The unit must be returned to the New Zealand service agent who has been appointed by the manufacturer. Really? And not to the New Zealand Police, because I might bet the manufacturer says something different. But then the New Zealand Police don't give a fuck about the actual manufacturer's booklets, because New Zealand things are different. Remember at the start, they don't care. When an instrument used in the testing of a speed enforcement device, for example a tuning fork, malfunctions, then both the unit and all testing equipment should be packaged together and sent to the New Zealand service agent. Details of the authorised service agents can be found or can be obtained from the police calibration unit. After servicing by the agent, the unit will be recalibrated by the police calibration unit before returning to the district. All costs associated with repairs will be charged to the district. No kidding. Number 9. Evidential requirements. I hope you're listening. Documentary evidence. To comply with evidential requirements, the operator will need a copy of the speed device logbook relating to the day in question, which is your speed deployment registrar, a copy of the certificate of accuracy issued within a year of the date of the offence, a copy of the certificate of accuracy for the patrol vehicle used in the operation of the radar device, or a copy of the certificate of accuracy for the patrol vehicle used for the weekly check in the case of a laser device. Evidence in court. The operator must be able to give evidence that they are an approved speed enforcement operator, they conducted the required tests for the units and found it to be working correctly, that a tracking history was established for the target vehicle, and the code of operations was complied with. So those are questions you seriously need to ask if you actually ever get to the point, unlike me, of entering a plea, and you actually get that prick up on the stand. That's what you need to ask him. Ask him about the tracking history. Ask him were the code of operations complied with, and if so, what are those codes of operation? He should know. And with this, now we do. 10. Speed detection code of operations. Okay. This is what they should say was complied with. Operators. 1. Trained operators. Except for the purposes of instruction, speed detection equipment is to be operated only by members of the New Zealand Police who have completed the speed detection operators module, achieved a minimum of 70% in the module theory test, undergone 20 hours practical instruction with a qualified instructor and demonstrated competence, being certified as a trained operator by the Traffic Operations Support Group of the Office of Commissioner. Former members of traffic safety services who completed training in the use of speed detection equipment prior to 1992 are deemed to be qualified operators. This covers members whose identification numbers begin with E001 up and including up to F116. Qualified instructors. District Strategic Traffic Managers have the authority to appoint qualified instructors. To be appointed as a qualified instructor, staff must have been certified as a trained operator and have spent at least 2 years consistently operating a speed detection equipment, are currently using speed detection equipment as part of their duties, have the ability to train others, and qualified instructors must be registered with the Traffic Operations Support Group, Office of the Commissioner, before taking up the qualified instructor's role. Equipment. 3. Certificate of Accuracy. Section 146 of the Land Transport Act 1998 requires all operational speed detector certificates of accuracy to be issued within 12 months of the date of use in the detection of offences. Only units with current certificate of accuracies may be used. A series of electronic and road tests form the basis of the issue of certificate of accuracy. The responsibility for testing and certification rests with the Police Calibration Unit, an international standards accredited laboratory based in Wellington. 4. Speedo certificate. All police vehicles being used in conjunction with radar speed detection and the field of testing of laser speed detection equipment must have a current Speedo certificate of accuracy. Section 146 of the Land Transport Act 1998 requires all Speedo certificates accuracy to be issued within 12 months of the date of use in the detection of offences. 5. Servicing. Repairs and servicing are only to be carried out by authorised service agents. Details of the authorised service agents are maintained by the calibration unit. Pre-deployment. 6. Testing. At the beginning of each deployment, operators must conduct a series of tests prescribed in the best practices guidelines to ensure that the device is operating correctly. The operator must record test results in the device logbook. If the speed detection unit fails any checks, it is not to be used. Deployment. 7. Tracking history. A tracking history of the vehicle must be established. Tracking history for all speed detection units contain 3 main elements: visual observation, audio confirmation, and verification by a speed detector. To eliminate errors effectively, all 3 elements must be present for each speed check. For radar units operated in moving mode, the vehicle ground speed must be confirmed by certified speedometer. Multiple vehicles in beam. Where there is more than one vehicle in the beam, enforcement action may be taken, provided the operator can give evidence relating to the tracking history of other vehicles and the offender's speed. 9. Fairness. Operators must use their training and experience to ensure that there are no significant sources of reflection or interference in the vicinity of the offence. If there is any doubt concerning the speed check or the operation of the speed detection unit, no action is to be taken. Really? Well, again, we'll see if anybody and I'm going to be asking for under the Official Information Act, I'm going to be asking for the deployment registers of every vehicle I have recorded personally this year. And that includes EUR 591 on the 8th of November on Triangle Road. If that fucker's been issuing tickets where he's parked, all of those tickets should be void and refunded. If they're not, well, I'll leave it for you guys to decide what's the best course of action. Okay. 11. Best practice guidelines. radar. This is what they were all supposed to do. Pre-deployment tests. There are tests that are carried out before commencing speed enforcement patrol. Check the device is certified. A sticker is attached to the unit that needs to be visually checked to confirm the date for the next calibration is in the future. Alright? So they have to physically check the stamp. That could be a question in court. Did you visually check the device was certified before using it? Check the speedo of the patrol vehicle has a current certificate of accuracy. This proves the speedo readings are the true speed readings for the patrol vehicle, which means the officer should have the certificate of accuracy for their speedometer on that vehicle. How else are they supposed to check it? Switch on the device. Ensure all segments of the display are operating. As the unit is turned on, it will automatically run through a series of internal tests. If these tests fail, or if any segment of the unit readout is not operating, check to see the power source and connections are in place. Turn the device on again. If these tests fail again, remove the unit from service and forward it to the service agent. And finally, complete the tuning fork tests. The details of how these tests are completed are contained in each device's New Zealand Police Operations Manual. Record the results in the logbook. Tuning fork tests are completed for each antenna. Note, all antennas must be checked. Deployment tests. These are the tests that are complied while the unit is being used in moving mode. Confirm patrol vehicle speed is consistent with the speed readout on the unit within plus or minus 3 kilometres. So there's a variant there between the cop speed and what the actual ground speed can be between 3 kilometres difference. So even there, that's not exactly beyond reasonable doubt, is it? This is achieved by travelling at a constant speed appropriate to the speed limit being operated in and checking that the true speed, according to the certificate of accuracy, is the one displayed on the readout. Record the results in the logbook. Don't ever see that. Best practices guidelines for laser. Pre-deployment tests. These are the tests that are carried out before commencing speed enforcement patrol. Check the device is certified. A sticker is attached to the unit that needs to be visually checked to confirm the date for the next calibration is in the future, just like the radar. Turn the unit on and check all display segments are operating. The device will conduct a number of self-tests commencing automatically. If the device is not operating or if the readout displays are not functioning, check the power supply and retest the unit. If the tests fail again, remove the unit from service and forward it to the service agent. Conduct a sight alignment test. This is carried out every day and the device is used. Select a pole or similar fixed point marker and aim the unit sighter to the centre of that fixed object. Record the distance. Move the aim of the laser to the left hand side of the fixed point and check that the unit ceases the reading on the fixed point as soon as the aim is moved. Repeat this test, but instead of moving the aim left, move to the right hand side of the fixed point. Repeat twice more, moving the aim above and below the fixed point. The measurement displayed on the readout unit must be recorded in the logbook. Can't say I've ever seen them do that. On a weekly basis, the laser unit readout needs to be checked using a drive-through by a patrol vehicle with a certified speedo. This is carried out by having the driver of the vehicle drive at a steady speed towards the laser operation area. The speed will be relevant to the area of the operation. The driver should flash their headlights will advise using the radio when the vehicle speed is steady and use the laser operator and will check the speed. The member using the laser will advise the vehicle driver of the results of the speed check. The driver will advise the speed that they were travelling, and after checking the certificate of accuracy, determine the true speed. Where the margin of error exceeds plus or minus 3 kilometers an hour, the unit is to be withdrawn for servicing. The result of the check must be recorded in the logbook vehicle. Speed checks, for example, 64/65, 46/46, 75/75. Practical application radar training. The Code of Operation requires members to receive 20 hours practical training in the operation of speed enforcement equipment. This consists of both radar and laser training. The suggested breakdown of hours is 16 hours for radar and 4 hours for laser. The following provides details of what operators must be able to demonstrate before they can be assessed as competent users. Pre-deployment tests refer to the beginning of each shift. Certification. The operator must check the certification sticker on the side of the device for the expiry date. Explain that if the date is current, the device can be used, otherwise the device must be recertified before use. Identify who carries out the recertification. Check the certificate of accuracy for the speedo of the patrol vehicle and determine its status. The test date must be within 12 months from the date of operation. Identify the difference, if any, between the true vehicle speed and the actual vehicle speed readings. Explain that for speed enforcement, the true speed, as described in the certificate of accuracy, is the speed used for the testing device. Unit testing. The operator must assemble the radar device and install it in his vehicle. Connect cables and power supply correctly. Turn the device on and allow it to run its internal testing sequence. Check all readings are displayed correctly. That means that there are no missing portions of the letters or numbers. Explain how to recheck and retest the device if the power supply or readout does not work by rechecking the cables, checking connections, confirming the power supply source, connection, turning the device off and restarting it, and proceeding with the internal test sequence. Doesn't sound too difficult, does it? Tuning fork test. The operator must remove the tuning fork from storage, confirm the serial number on the tuning fork are the same as listed on the certificate of accuracy for the radar device. Really? I don't see any tuning fork numbers on any certificate of accuracy for a radar device. Record the tuning fork serial number in the logbook. Can't say I've ever seen that happen. Conduct the tuning fork's test sequence as detailed in the unit operator's manual. Record the results of the tuning fork test in the logbook and conduct the test sequence for each antenna. Deployment tests. Moving mode. The operator must confirm that patrol's vehicle speed is consistent with the speed readout of the unit within plus or minus 3 kilometers. This is achieved by travelling at a consistent speed appropriate to the speed limit of the area and checking that the true speed according to the certificate of accuracy is the one displayed on the readout. Record the results in the logbook. Target identification. The operator must identify the target vehicle when it comes into the beam. Oh yeah? How do you do that? Tracking history. The operator must demonstrate that they are able to establish the tracking history of the vehicle. This means they see the target vehicle and specify what it looks like, for example a red Toyota or a blue Mazda. View the readout on the unit and identify to which vehicle it relates. Hear the change in audio, Doppler tone, to indicate an increase or decrease in speed. Cosine effect. The operator must identify the target vehicle using tracking requirements, Use the antenna to demonstrate how a change of cosine angle affects the speed reading. The speed checks. The operator needs to be able to gauge the speed of the vehicle visually. Day. In stationary mode, the instructor covers the speed readout and the operator estimates the speed. The instructor checks this against the readout. The difference between the two speeds needs to be within 8 kilometers an hour. The operator must achieve 10 consistent speed confirmations within 8 kilometers an hour. Are you fucking shitting me? So they're allowed to guess what speed you're doing, give or take 8k, and that's considered visual confirmation. Bullshit. Repeat this exercise with the operator covering the readout of the Doppler tone turned down. The difference between the speed needs to be within 8 kilometers an hour, plus or minus. The operator must achieve 10 consistent speed confirmations within plus 8 or minus 8 kilometers an hour. Night. In stationary mode, the instructor covers the speed readout and the operator must estimate the speed. The instructor checks the speed against the readout. The difference between the two speeds needs to be within 8 kilometers an hour. The operator must achieve 10 consistent speed confirmations within 8 kilometers an hour. Repeat this exercise with the operator covering the readout of the Doppler tone turned down and the difference between the speeds needed to be within 8 kilometers an hour. The operator must achieve 10 consistent speed confirmations within 8 kilometers an hour. The operator must select a site for operating the radar in stationary mode. Selection must include the following considerations. I hope you're listening. So this is operating a radar in stationary mode, such as a speed camera van. The operator must consider legal parking of the patrol vehicle, location safely for the patrol vehicle, including the officer's ability to open the patrol car door safely, exit the patrol car, approach the offending vehicle and conduct an enforcement stop. The range of the radar operation within 250 meters of any change in speed limit. Legal parking in which to stop vehicles. Safe parking for offending vehicles, including the ability of the driver to safely exit their vehicle and safely approach for the officer. Daytime and nighttime operation issues. Sight. The sight must be straight enough to allow vehicles to be detected for at least 100 meters. Provide sufficient distance to allow the speed to be checked and the operator to exit the vehicle and conduct an enforcement stop. Unit setup. Aim. The operator must check the unit's antenna is aimed and set up to detect vehicles. Minimize the cosine angle and the range is adjusted so that it is appropriate for that site. The operator in moving mode. The operator must identify ground speed on the readout, confirm the ground speed and speedo readouts are consistent given the certificate of accuracy, place the unit in hold mode until using the hold button, release the lock button for device operation, identify the target vehicle and its speed, establish a tracking history for the target vehicle using the 3 elements visual, audio and readout, lock the target vehicle speed on the unit, indicate the difference between multiple vehicles in the beam and the single vehicle. Patrol stops, moving mode, same lane. The operator must identify a target vehicle where its speed exceeds the posted speed limit, establish a tracking history by telling the instructor how it meets audio, visual and readout requirements, lock on to the target vehicle's speed, activate red and blue lights, pull out into the flow of traffic safely, indicate to the target vehicle to stop, park safely, ensure the reflectorized jacket is worn, Exit the patrol vehicle after checking for traffic. Approach the target vehicle driver's door. Keep following traffic in line of sight when speaking with the driver. Patrol stops, moving mode. Opposite lane. The operator must identify the target vehicle where its speed exceeds the posted speed limit. Establish a tracking history by telling the instructor how it meets audio, visual and readouts. Lock onto the target's vehicle speed. Activate red and blue lights. Complete a U-turn safely and with due consideration to minimise stress on the patrol vehicle. For example, speed is reduced before turning. The curb is not mounted when turning. Indicate to the target vehicle to stop. Park safely. Ensure the reflectorised jacket is being worn. Exit patrol vehicle after checking for traffic. Approach the target vehicle's driver's door. Keep following the traffic in line of sight when speaking with the driver. This is where it says issuing notice. And I'd like to start off with the 3 words, the operator must. So the guy sitting in the van, doing the photos, doing the radar detection, he's the operator. Must record the driver's detail on the notice. How's he going to do that? Identify the appropriate offence. How's he going to do that? Check the infringement fee is correct for the charge. How's he going to do that? Record the appropriate precedent code, the provisions. Record the unit's details accurately on the notice. Record a summary of the offence on the reverse of the notice. And complete all parts of the notice. They are a police employee, a non-sworn officer, and they are not doing the issuing of the notice. The operator did not issue the notice. There was a different QID number that's on the infringement notice. There's definitely no precedent code written on it. It's just that usually you'll see that in that you drove a motor vehicle exceeding blah 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 if you get a blue ticket. There's no precedent on there. There's no summary of facts. There's no summary of the offence. So, yeah, that's a big one. Take note, people. Practical application for the laser. Training. The Code of Operations requires a member to receive 20 hours, same as bloody bullshit, blah blah blah, 4 hours for laser. So, practical application, they need to be able to use a laser for 4 hours. Pre-deployment tests. Certification, the operator must check the certification sticker for expiry, which they I doubt ever do. Explain if the date of the current device can be used, otherwise the device must be recertified before use. Unit testing. Complete the power supply is plugged in correctly, the same as pretty much everything else. This is where they are saying pre-deployment. Pre-deployment refers to the beginning of each shift. Sight alignment, the operator select a pole or a fixed post or object, aiming the sighting device at the object and gain a distance reading, and this reading is between the device and the fixed point. Obtain a distance reading and advise the instructor of that reading. Move the laser aim from the fixed point left away from the point and check the distance reading ceases, and then do the same, moving it right, up and down. Exactly the same if I want to align a satellite dish. I get my tone and I will always lock the dish in horizontally, then I'll adjust the azimuth or the tilt pitch, and so I've got it left and right locked in horizontally, and if I turn that way the tone drops, turn that way the tone drops, and then up and down the tone drops and the tone drops. That way I know I'm smack bang. And yeah, a millimetre out down this end makes a huge difference. As far as the laser, absolutely no difference whatsoever. Yeah, exactly the same. Alright. Although I will say here, in the site selection, parking. The operator must consider legal parking for the patrol vehicle, location safely for the patrol vehicle, including the officer's ability to open the patrol door and car door, The range of the laser operation is not within 250 metres of any change of speed sign, so it's there as well. Sight: the operating sight must be straight for approximately 250 metres. The operator must, issuing the notice of course, the operator must record the driver's details on the notice, identify the appropriate offence, check the infringement fee is correct for the charges, record the appropriate precedent code, record the unit's details accurately on the notice, and record the summary of the offence on the reverse of the notice, and complete all parts of the notice. So there you go, guys. That's the speed detection operating module. At the back they have, a couple of self-answering questionnaires where they actually do those questions and then they even give them the fucking answers. Ridiculous. Anyway, see you later, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Bye all.
$8 miles an hour.